Hello, hello, and happy Repeal Day, everybody. My name is Ed. Wah! I have my phone on. Sorry about the feedback. It is Repeal Day. It is the Rock Gut Review. It is a Sunday at 4 o'clock, so I'm streaming, and I hope you're having a great day. Who is already here? It's Sugar Kitty! What's up? Will Betty Confetti Getty, the petty sweaty Yeti, be making an appearance? Not today. Well, yes, today, but later. The next episode of How Whiskey Saved Christmas will be coming out tonight, sometime after this stream. I still have to finish a little bit of editing on that. So it'll be coming out a little bit later. But yes, and that is the official name of the Yeti. I've decided. The official name of the Sweaty Yeti is Betty Confetti Getty, the Petty Sweaty Yeti. Thank you, Sugar Kitty, for giving me that name. LaPrint is here. Are you ready, Spaghetti? There we go. Donner Pass, what's going on? Hi, everyone. The Christmas story has been a lot of fun. Much better than an advent calendar. Thank you. I was not sure how people were going to react to it, so I'm glad you're enjoying it. The search for Angus continues. Yes. Steve A says, this is something to celebrate. 100%. You are correct. Eric Parnham, happy Repeal Day. Scott Moody, cheers. Good to see you. Eli Cook is on time for once. Slow work day equals rocket in his headphones. Awesome. Hey, Brandon Knight, a stalwart of the channel. Stay rotten, my people. And 2bit6, Scotty Buttons. What's going on, man? Good to see you. And, oh, that's still Donner Pass. Do we have to watch the Ken Burns documentary Prohibition again today? I mean, if you want to, if that's how you choose to celebrate the day. So, as all of you, I'm sure, know, in the 20th century, the U.S. government, pushed by certain puritanical groups, decided to pursue a social policy that was clearly rooted in ethnic discrimination, that attempted to regulate the personal liberties of the American people and what they could do in their free time and what they were allowed to put in their bodies. This failed social policy led to rampant use of controlled substances and wide proliferation of crime, particularly organized crime. But enough about the war on drugs. Let's talk about Prohibition. So, I've got a few things to drink today. And, oh, Bourbon, take it off. Maybe, just for you, just a little, Bourbon. Just a little. But yes, so we got a few things to drink because it is Repeal Day. Today is the day that the 21st Amendment was passed to repeal the 18th. Now, the weird thing is about that is that Prohibition didn't technically end. It was just passed along to the states. So each state got to choose how and when to repeal it. I believe Wisconsin was right among the first group. I think the longest was Mississippi. Didn't repeal for a long time. Steve A., funny from how people don't learn from history, isn't it? It is funny. I'm sure future generations will be talking about this, about marijuana, the exact same way we talk about Prohibition. I have no doubt. So let's have a drink, why don't we? I gotta stop showing off my naked body. My aunt's in the chat. That makes it awkward. Blind. Brandon's on that Jim Beam repeal batch. Actually, that's a good point. I was gonna start out with some Driftless Glen. I have a couple of Driftless Glen little barrel samples here. But why don't we start out with something that actually has repeal on the label? This is Repeal Reserve Rye from, what is this? This is Great Lakes Distillery. So every year, Great Lakes releases a Repeal Rye, a 5-year-old Repeal Rye. And it's only available the day of. This is not this year's. I didn't go and get this year's, partially because I am trying to save money, because Erica and I are trying to go to Scotland next year. So I'm trying to save some money, trying to buy a little bit less, at least until the end of the year. And the other reason I didn't get a bottle this year was because they moved the time up to 11 in the morning rather than in the evening. And my hungover ass was still asleep. we were having some fun last night. So, yeah. Yes, repeal bags. 4 different Remus repeal reserves. There you go. All seem appropriate. Definitely. Yes, and of course, leaving Prohibition to the states meant that we ended up with 50 different systems. Depending on your state, there are probably many different laws and regulations. Although, for the most part, you either have state-controlled liquor markets or you have a 3-tier system, except for Washington, because Washington gets it right. Out of all the states, they're the only one that doesn't have a 3-tier system or some sort of government control. Don't get me started on the 3-tier system. That's another bunch of bullshit. Yeah. Oh, Sugar Kitty's on that Staves and Grain 8-year MGP barrel strength rye. Nice. Nice. We're all team shirtless. I love you, Bourbon. If you guys are not subscribed to Bourbon, go show Ben some love. He's a great guy. He's a lovely guy. He constantly encourages me to take my shirt off, which is good or bad, depending on how you feel about that. But he's a lovely, lovely person, and you should all be subscribed to him if you're not already. Oh, I guess Washington does have a 35% tax on alcohol. So that's a problem too. Taxation is a thing that I didn't know they had that big tax. All I knew is they didn't have a 3-tier system, which God, I hate the 3-tier system. I hate the 3-tier system with such a burning passion. Oh man. I will say this is one of my dad's favorite ryes, the Repeal Rye. I wonder if he actually went out and got a bottle this year. I don't know if he was on his toes. They moved the like I say at the time. Used to be you had to wait till the evening to go and pick up your bottle. This year they did it in the morning. But I don't know if he got his. But this is one of his favorite ryes. This is one he loves eating with Oreos in particular. That's his thing. Brandon says he has a 4-tier system because one of his local distributors likes to hawk bottles on the secondary. Don't get me started on the secondary either. God damn it. That is one thing I will say. We have had many blessings with the whiskey boom, the bourbon boom. We've had a lot of new distilleries pop up. We've had a lot of new and wonderful people doing new and wonderful things in many corners of the market. But along with that, you always do have people, profiteering assholes who are going to take advantage of people's interest and wants and try to make a quick buck. And I hate the system. I'm just employed by it. Exactly. Oh, well, I got to pay rent, don't you know? Somebody's got to bring home the bacon. I mean, Erica, let's face it, Erica's with a bank. She makes so much more money than me. But I still got to pay rent. That is a good rye. That is a good rye. That is a fine, fine rye. Very, very black licorice-y, which I like. Little bit of peach, just a little bit of peach. There's really not a lot of sweetness there. For 5 years in the barrel, you get a little caramel, a little vanilla. But yeah, that is, for the most part, nice. Little bit of mint, little bit of licorice, a lot of licorice, I should say. Touch of dill. Yeah, quite a bit of mint. Oh yeah, this one will definitely go with Oreos. I have some mini Oreos somewhere around here. But yeah, this is a great Oreo rye. This is a fantastic Oreo rye. Hey, Dano B, good evening. Good to see you. Thank you for popping in. Could be worse and live in a dry county. Yep, that is true. That's the funny thing about dry counties too, is there's always a liquor store right on the border. I don't know. I do think the prohibition of any psychoactive substance, or the the prohibition of any psychoactive substance that you can be taken in a safe and a safe and thoughtful manner ought not to be prohibited. That's my opinion. It ought to be regulated and available for consenting, intelligent adults to consume. And let's face it, the labeling of alcohol or tobacco or anything else as a vice is very much rooted in these old puritanical, somewhat stuffy, ridiculous notions of morality, and ones that generally its proponents don't even live up to. So, for example, Morris Shepard, the father of national prohibition, who authored the 18th Amendment and also was co-author of the Volstead Act, which enforced prohibition. During Prohibition, they caught him with an illegal moonshine still on his property. It's a lot like, all the anti-gay marriage guys who keep getting caught, fucking young men. The people who tend to fight the hardest against it are the ones who do it on the side. Me, I celebrate my vices on YouTube. So I'm on the up and up. I got nothing to hide. Yeah, minty, licoricey. So good. So good. Just a little bit of that kind of bittersweet bite from the wood. That's some tasty stuff. Brandon, thank you. Thank you for finding that entertaining. I appreciate you, Brandon. Oh, man. Yeah. All right. Now, I did say this was a Repeal Day celebration. So, is that really? Does Dennis actually have a copper still from back in the day? That's awesome. That's really cool. I would love to see that. That's so awesome. That's my uncle, Uncle Dennis. Yeah, and whiskey was a medicine until Big Pharma came along. That's true. And a lot of the big Kentucky distilleries were able to stay open because they were able to get a medicinal whiskey license. So, hey, Mateo! What's up? Good to see you, buddy. From his great-grandpa. Oh, that's sick. Next time I'm over there, I'll definitely want to see that. That's awesome. Next time we get together. So, how about this? I was going to say, because this is a Repeal Day celebration, it shouldn't just be me. This isn't just about me talking at you guys and all that. No, we're not going to do that today. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. I'm happy just to sit here and talk. But anybody who wants to come on the stream, if you got a webcam, come on, hang out. Let's chat. Let's have a nice Repeal Day celebration all together. Link is in the chat for whomever might want to join. Because I don't feel like drinking alone this Repeal Day. I want to drink with you guys. Oh, Steve A will come on in a couple minutes. Cool. Awesome. I do really I don't think I've had very few ryes that I think are bad, right? I've had maybe one or two ryes in my life that I actually didn't like. it's more that there are just styles of rye that I like more or less than others, right? It's hard to fuck up rye because, I mean, you really have to either fuck it up during the fermentation process, you got to fuck it up during the distillation process. But once you get it through fermentation and distillation, it doesn't take as much aging to get it right, as opposed to bourbon or corn whiskey. So now that's mostly because I like that spiciness, but it's hard to fuck up. But there are different styles of rye depending on how spicy and crazy they are. Oh, nice. 2-Bit's making a sidecar. Good for you. Brandon said he needs to get my camera situated. People keep inviting. I know. Well, I didn't know if I was going to do that or not. I just decided if someone wants to pop on and hang out, we can do that. If it's just me, I'm cool with that too. But I would say this is on the lighter side of rye in terms of spiciness. Generally, I do think Great Lakes, for the most part, makes a lighter style of rye. This one is a little heavier than their base product. Their base product is a super neutral rye. Their base product is like just real neutral, way more bourbon-esque, I would say, and in some ways, a little bit more sweet. This is more of a heavy, spicy, licoricey rye in the style I like. So I like it. It's definitely not as heavy as some other ryes, in particular this guy. So I haven't cracked these guys open yet. These are a couple of barrel pick samples that I got from Driftless Ken a while back. Not actually doing a barrel pick. I just got the free samples. At some point, it would be cool to do a barrel pick, kind of like Mash and Drum and Scott from My Bourbon Journey do. But I don't think I'm quite big enough yet to actually get the audience to sell, to actually sell it, all of those bottles. That's a lot of bottles to move. So we have got a 4-year-old rye. I don't know what 30 grams is. 30G. Not sure what that is down there. Oh, it's a barrel size. It's a 30-gallon. That's what it says over here. So this is a 4-year-old, 114 day. This is the bourbon. Barrel size is 30 gallons. So these are small barrels. These are kind of teeny tiny barrels. Let's start with the rye. Whoa. God damn. Holy crap. Yeah, not doing a barrel pick, just mooching. Yeah, I stole these from my buddy at Ray's. At 100%. Not doing a pick, just mooching. Holy crap. Whoa, this is nuts. This rye, this is the most peanut buttery rye I've ever smelled. Holy damn. Okay. On the taste, I get more of what I would expect from Driftless Glen Rye, right? More minty, more dilly. But it's still super nutty. This is like straight up peanut butter. Holy crap. You know Screwball? You know how Screwball tastes like it, but it's like super sugary. It's like peanut butter, but it's super sugary. It's like ice cream. It's like ice cream with peanut butter on it. This is like Screwball if you took out all the sugar. That is crazy. I've never had a rye this peanutty. Hey, David! Good to see you, dude. What's up? Glad to have you in chat, dude. Yeah. Peanut butter and a little bit of cherry. Peanut butter and cherry. Holy crap. That's bananas. And I don't mean it tastes like bananas. I mean it is crazy like bananas. Like Bananas. That shit is bananas. Thank you, Gwen Stefani. Truly, you are the Shakespeare of our generation. David, you know how Screwball tastes? No, I don't like physically harming myself. That's fair. I know how Screwball tastes. Pretty sure that Screwball review is actually one of our biggest videos. The review Erica and I did. I think we topped like it's something crazy. We've got like 15,000 views on that or something. Okay. This is nuts because the bourbon is actually less peanutty than the rye. The rye is way more peanutty. The bourbon's still pretty peanutty though. But more like salted peanuts. Like, and this is the rye is pure peanut, just straight up peanut. This is more like, you know, you salted, like dried salted peanuts, you know, you get I don't know how to describe it. The rye is like somehow like fresh peanut. I don't know. Are fresh peanuts even somehow a thing? I don't know. Yeah. That's so strange. Whoa. This rye, the Driftless Glen rye here, I think this is actually sweeter than the bourbon. This is actually way sweeter than the bourbon. That's nuts. Oh, wow. 23,000 views. Shit, motherfucker. That's crazy. Yeah, exactly, Brandon. Like a fresh spoon of Jif. Hey, look at this. We got somebody in the chat or in the stream. Let's do it like this. There you
go.
Steve.
Greetings.
Hey, look at you rocking the Rock Gut shirt.
My camera is ever so slightly out of alignment. And it's still not lined up right, but it'll work.
You got it. You look good.
Good enough.
Burban is saying, does it taste like D's? Yes. Yes, it does taste like D's. What are you drinking, Steve?
I'm on the Repeal batch. I made a fairly healthy pour because I've actually been sipping on this for a while now. But you know, it's Repeal batch, 43%. Just solid Jim Beam goodness.
Yeah, there you go.
43%, non-chill filtered. Always a good thing.
Yeah, no doubt. I gotta say, I like that. I'm pretty sure that's the one because it's non-chill filtered and 43%. So it's like they actually they took a chance with that. Because if it was 46, they wouldn't have to worry about it getting cloudy. But at 43, that's actually taking a gamble.
Yep, 43%, 86 proof, non-chill filtered.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's brave. That's some bravery.
I'm glad they did it because it's really good.
Donner's saying, got a Screwball 50 ml for Christmas this year, still unopened. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. For sure.
Well, so I've got a Absolute Pepper mini that I think I've had for 20 years now. Picked it up somewhere along the way and it just keeps getting moved with
Like every time you change houses or whatever, it just gets thrown into a box and
I've only moved once in that time frame, so
okay, yeah. I know, because I feel like there's like cans of beans or something. You know, when you move apartments or something, you just throw everything in the pantry in a box, and it's like cans of beans follow you for years at a time.
I believe that. Oh,
I'm really loving this Driftless Glen Rye. I have seen Driftless Glen has popped up everywhere recently. It's
yeah.
been nuts.
I've seen it in Minnesota for quite a while now, which isn't exactly a surprise.
Yeah.
But I was seeing it across Kentucky and Indiana a couple of weeks ago when I was down there. So,
man, it's something, and you're seeing so many barrel picks. People are doing so many Driftless Glen barrel picks these days. I'm seeing them all over Instagram. They're doing well for themselves, and they deserve it because they make really good shit.
Don't do what? Oh no!
Take your shirt off.
No, not happening.
How much in super chats do we need to get Steve to take his shirt off? What's your price, Steve?
Austin Powers comes to mind here.
$1 million.
And yes, I expect to get a chunk of that myself.
No, of course it would. It would all have to all go to you. You're the one doing the thing.
I donate half of the net back to the channel. You get the $1 million in super chats, which means it's really 700,000.
Right.
You take 350, I take 350, and we call it good.
I think that's perfectly fair. Yes, if we were to ever get $1 million super chat.
Well, and I'll even allow that it doesn't need to be a single $1 million super chat.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
One stream only. This isn't something that can build up over the course of years.
We got one stream to raise $1 million. Okay.
Good luck. I'm pretty sure the shirt's staying on. Just saying.
David saying every whiskey enthusiast in Spain has an unopened bottle of Cardew 12 that clueless relatives give them. See, at least Cardew is.
I was gonna say
whiskey.
Cardew 12 is, it's nothing spectacular by any stretch, but that's just kind of a good solid Highland Speyside, whatever the hell it is. Just yeah. It's like you're drinking Glenlivet or Glenlivet or Glenmorangie, just kind of that quarter step up, something like that.
Oh yeah, it's one of those ones that I would never ever buy a bottle of for myself. But if I was at a bar or something and I was like, "There's absolutely nothing else to drink," I'd be like, "Yeah, okay,
oh, absolutely." Yeah. Or at some festival or something,
right?
It's like, okay, let's see, what am I going to use to get my tongue fired up? Oh, look, Cardew 12, sure, why not?
Sure, because it's so basic. It's
there's nothing wrong with Cardew 12.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've actually had that at a bar once in Marquette, Michigan.
Oh.
Little bar on the top of the hotel I stayed at for a night had like 3 different Cardew bottles. Like a 12, a 15, and something else. I'm like, okay, I'll take one. We'll start with the 12 and work my way up.
Sugar Kitty saying, does $350,000 buy a whiskey cow? Listen, if we sell you a whiskey cow, the reindeer can't fly, and then Christmas is ruined. I can't be responsible for ruining Christmas. Okay, I just can't. I can't have that blood on my hands. And Bourbon's saying $1 million Mexican dollars.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea how much that actually would be in American dollars. Probably not that much.
I don't know. I have no idea what the exchange rate for the dollar to the peso is right now.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Several hundred to many hundred to one, I'm sure.
Sure. Oh, undoubtedly, yeah. David is saying Cardew's NAS Gold Reserve is so much better than their 12 for the same price. The less time in their ancient casks, the better. Well, that is something to take into account. Is like if you do have a better option, especially I agree. Cardew's Gold Reserve is not bad.
I'd have to have them side by side to come to that conclusion to decide which I liked better.
I was kind of disappointed in that. What was it? Because they re-released the Gold Reserve as part of their Game of Thrones collection, or something basically essentially the same.
They just they renamed it they still were selling it at the same time as just the regular Cardew brand, but they had the same stuff in their Game of Thrones bottles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unlike Kleinleash or Lagavulin or Oban, where
Who actually did, yeah.
they did something different from the normal release for that.
Right.
Which is why the Kleinleash, Lagavulin, and Oban are, the stars of the show when it came to that series.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I think the Kleinleash.
I haven't had the Mortlock, so I haven't had the Mortlock, so I can't offer an opinion on that. I've had all of the other 8.
Yeah.
The Royal Lochnagar was actually. I have to give the Royal Lochnagar credit.
I don't know if I had that one. I can't remember.
Way overpriced for what it is, but Royal Lochnagar does a really good job if you're just looking for the just straight up, fairly simple, for lack of a better term, that doesn't do it enough credit. Excuse me.
But like the Highland style, the honey, slightly bittersweet.
It's that Highland style, light, easy single malt.
Right.
But there's some complexity that's hiding in back there that if you go looking for it, there's like, oh, this has a little more about it. The Talisker was pretty good as well. I don't remember if they did a special something for the Talisker or not.
I thought the Talisker was just a rebranded Storm.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I know the Dalwhinnie and Cardew were just renamed something.
Yeah.
The Royal Lochnagar it's Royal Lochnagar 12. They didn't even pretend to change that one.
Eli Cook is saying he really enjoyed the Talisker. I gotta say, I really enjoyed Kleinleash. Kleinleash I thought was great. Lagavulin was great. Oban is never bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of if there was any really other standout ones. I don't think I ever had the Royal Lochnagar, and I never had the Mortlock, which I'm actually disappointed about. I would have liked to try that Mortlock.
The Mortlock's the one of the batch that I didn't get.
Yeah, because that came out a little bit later in that gold tube.
Well, and it came out at $150. I'm like,
yeah,
it's Mortlock 15. It's probably really good, but I don't think it's not going to be $150 good.
Yeah, that was pretty expensive for what you were getting.
If that came in at $100, I absolutely would have grabbed a bottle.
Oh, Sugar Kitty's saying it was not the same as Storm. If anything, something more like Dark Storm.
Could be.
Wow.
Like Talisker. They may even have done a slightly different blend somewhere between the Storm and Dark Storm. I don't know.
Yeah, because Eli could be saying it wasn't Storm.
All right, sure.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue the point. I can't say I know better.
Yeah. Indy is saying he wants whatever Ed was on when I wrote How Whiskey Saved Christmas. I was stone cold sober for some of those episodes.
Okay, not for the filming, for the writing.
Yeah, no, the writing depending on the day, but yeah, some of those episodes were absolutely written sober.
Let's take a step back, and not necessarily the writing the episode itself. How the hell did you come up with that concept? What were you on at that point? Because if you did the important work of coming up with this insane thing, what were you on then? Not. Although it's interesting that you then went and followed it up stone sober.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, well, that's part of what I do is like, so I'll have a drink or something else, the night of, and then I'll sit there on my phone just like thinking up weird shit. I'll text it to Erica so I make sure I remember, and then the next morning I go back through the texts and see what the fuck weird shit I sent her, and then I'll start writing based on that.
Poor woman.
I know, right? Like Cooks. Funny you're pushing for psychoactives in the middle of releasing that fantastic chaos. Listen. We should just deregulate certain substances is all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I'm going to move on to this. So this is the straight bourbon high rye whiskey from Tublin Dice. This is a barrel pick I picked up over at my former employer, Ray's. The only problem is the tater sticker kind of covered up all the important fun information, although it is a very nice tater sticker. So.
Well, yes.
But if I remember correctly, this is just a sourced thing. They bottled it down in Bardstown. High rye mash bill. I think it's, 36 rye, 60 corn, 4% barley. Donner's asking, was there one thing in particular that inspired my hatred of Margaret Thatcher? Not the Falklands. I come from a mixed Protestant and Irish Catholic family. And so one side is particularly anti-Margaret Thatcher. And I've just kind of made it a running joke. Yes. No, we should legalize medical LSD. 100%.
Oh.
They're doing fantastic stuff.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I would say LSD, I think you got to be careful on the recreational front. But some of the things they found that it's useful for actually in controlled medical uses, PTSD especially. Oh, my God. It's just that could be such a game changer for a lot of people that need it very badly.
Mm-hmm. And also MDMA. MDMA is as a therapeutic assistant, really, really cool. That was one thing. They when I was taking psych back when in college, they told us, this ridiculous bullshit about how MDMA will rot holes in your brain and all this bullshit. And now, of course, they're realizing that it really is just the perfect drug to give to people who have trouble doing therapy because of post-traumatic stress or, whatever mental illness they might have. It's incredible for just calming people down and getting them to trust a therapist so they can talk about this shit. It's amazing. It's amazing.
And again, this is another one like LSD that you've got to be really careful the environment in which you use it.
Well, that's true.
Again, this is not something that should likely be made available to the general public. But
we don't want people having bad trips and freaking out. But hey, what's up, Cool Running Sancha? David says Ireland loves Margaret Thatcher so much so the IRA tried to assassinate her to save her from losing the 1992 election.
Wow.
I mean, that's really nice of them. That's really nice of them. Alabama Chicken is asking, when is the review for Tiger Thick coming? Good question. I actually just reached out to the importer the other day, and they said they will send me a sample. So I don't know how long that'll take for us to get that. But once it comes in, I will be doing a video on Tiger Thick. I don't know who Brandon Schaub is, or Brendan Schaub, or whatever his name is. So I have no idea why everyone seems so excited about this whiskey. But whatever, I'll review it. And Donner is saying the documentary Hoffman's Potion shows that psychiatric research with LSD was big back when it was created, then halted for many years. Yeah, man. The squares stopped us from using these things therapeutically. Like, I mean, think about how anti-hippie Nixon was, or a lot of those people, man. Setback medicine.
And especially with marijuana, how explicitly racist the bands were when they came out.
Absolutely.
They marijuana in particular was, I mean, you look at the bozos in the federal government at the time that were literally banning it because it was something that blacks and Hispanics used a lot.
Right. And there's huge.
I realize it was a different time and everything, but oh my God, that is just so over the top.
Yeah.
Explicitly racist, and our drug laws are still based on that bullshit.
Oh yeah, 100%. And the fact is, like, there are clearly parallels with how Prohibition went down, and because drunkenness was seen as a Catholic or Irish or German or Polish issue. And the feeling was, we need to ban alcohol because those damn Catholics are going to get drunk and do all this crazy shit. It was very clearly based on ethnic and religious bigotry. And that's why the KKK was such a big fan of Prohibition.
Because they were very anti-Catholic.
Yep. Sugar Keys, can we officially change the channel name now? The Wavy Gravy Review. Oh, Sugar Kitty. I love you. I love you, Sugar Kitty.
So another generous
now, man?
Because why not? Repeal batch number 4.
Oh, nice.
I haven't seen 5 yet. I hope I still run across it at some point.
Yeah. Man, we used to have we used to get a bunch of that at Ray's. We had a few bottles sitting on the shelves for the longest time. And I think just recently people realized how good that shit is and snapped it up.
Well, that's how, even though I didn't really find out about it until right before batch 3 came out, I managed to snag a bottle of batch 1 almost right away because it was still sitting out there 2 years later.
Right. Yeah, certainly people have realized how good the high-end Remus is, but I think it took them a while, and it seems like people are never going to quite come around on how good even like the standard Remus is.
Actually, the one Remus bottle back there that you can see is a store pick, so it's a barrel proof.
Yeah.
I think there's another one behind it, and 3 more bottles of Remus Repeal Reserve, and a bottle of Volstead up there. And
yeah, no, that Volstead, man, shit,
that's good stuff.
Yeah. David is saying, I love how Nixon was a straight edge conservative and Gerald Ford was the closest thing to a stoner Republican. That did seem to be their dynamic. Gerald Ford got up. She's just like, listen, guys, we just gotta take it easy, man. Hey, Whiskey Nose is here. What's going on? Good to see you. Grouchy Pseudopod says, all my homies hate the KKK, Nixon, and Thatcher. Here's to you, Grouchy Pseudopod. You also have one of the best handles on YouTube, I gotta say. Grouchy Pseudopod is a fantastic name.
I've got to be honest, I don't have a huge amount of hate for Nixon and Thatcher. I mean, I loathe the KKK because I'm a reasonable human being.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say I have any great love for Nixon or Thatcher, but I don't despise them to the extent that a lot of people do.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to hop on, Patty, you can hop on. I'll throw the link in the chat. That also goes for anyone else who wants to come and hang out and celebrate Repeal Day here on the Rock Gut Review. Us folk from Belfast drink because that's just what we do. In the little shebeens. Hey, John Kranz! And David Getsky, only a stoner like Ford would suggest carpooling as a way to fight inflation. Oh, thank you, Grouchy. Yeah, no, for sure. Oh, man. I gotta say, this Deadwood, I know it's clearly sourced distillate, but it is one of, I think, my favorite barrel picks that we did at Ray's in my time there. So, and Jerfy Patron is here. You can hop into anybody who wants to hop in, hang out and chat.
Jerfy Patron. When did he change that? And I didn't notice it.
Jerfy. Jerfy Patron.
I haven't seen Jerf in a while. So I'm guessing he changed that at some point, and I just hadn't run across him since.
Donner Pass is having a 2021 Winter Edition Scallywag. Ooh, I did see that just popped recently. All Oloroso and PX Sherry Butt. Ooh, that sounds pretty good.
I need to try to find me a bottle of that one, because Oloroso and PX from those 3 distilleries. Oh, good Lord, yes.
Yeah.
Just sign me up.
Those, I think, certainly my love for Macallan has dimmed somewhat in recent years. I think as pretty much everyone,
Well, so
yeah, has, but
once you get past, say, the 15 year, so once it starts getting really expensive,
yeah,
it's really good stuff. Of course, now you're at the point where it's so insanely overpriced. I mean, the thing is that it's gotten to the point now with so many other good, 12-year scotches that Macallan isn't overpriced compared to most of them anymore.
No. Yeah.
I mean, Glendronach is at that same price point, and we had the discussion about their recent change, and so many other 12-ish year scotches are as much or more than Macallan 12 is now.
That is true. We definitely have seen
they basically
luxurization.
They spiked their prices by 10-15%, something like that, like a year and a half or 2 years before everybody else did. And then everybody else did, and they just left theirs right where they were because they were already, it's like, no, we're already right where, yeah.
Right. They were the kind of the pioneer in the market.
On the downside, though, they also had cut back the quality of what was going into the bottle quite a bit over what it had been, 3-4 years before. So
no, for sure. I think, and that's what a lot of people have said is they think, and I don't know. Oh, also Nathan Clark is here. It's been a while. Good to see you, dude. I do think people now. I mean, clearly, people started saying like after they opened the new distillery that what they started putting out was not as good as what they did previously. Now, I don't think it's like the new distillery changed their distillate or whatever.
Well, it couldn't have because the new distillery is only a couple of years old, and we're talking about 12-year-old Scotch here.
Right. There's no way it could have. You couldn't have changed it that quickly. But it does seem as though during that same time frame, they made a choice that clearly we don't have enough distillate to make things at the exact same quality we used to.
Mm-hmm.
We need to start doing the blending differently.
What I suspect that is that 5 years ago the 12 had a much higher proportion of 15 and 16 and 18-year-old barrels in the batch than it does now. I would bet that's where the big difference came in, is that it was always a 12-year. So there was 12-year in there, and probably even the majority was 12-year. But instead of being 60% 12-year, 20% 15-year, 10% 18, and 10% 20-year, now it's 80% 12-year,
right?
15% 15-year, and 5% older. It something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
the proportion of older Scotch is now smaller,
much smaller.
Yeah. Brandon Knight is saying my earliest Macallan 12 was 2018 and he loved it. Yeah. Oh, I agree. I think.
Well, is it a 2018 bottling or you got it in 2018?
That's a good question too.
Because there's a very good chance that 2018 bottling was like the 2018 purchase was a 2016 bottling, given the way that the supply chain was working, getting stuff over.
I do also say I think Macallan. The Macallan, what was it, number 5? Was it number 4 and 5? I think that was because when I first really started getting back into whiskey, I think it was around when they were just releasing those.
4 is the green one, 5.
And 5 is the yellow, I think.
No, 2 is yellow.
2 is 2 is yellow? God, that's older than I thought.
Purple. 5 is purple, 6 is that sky blue.
Oh shit, that's so yeah, no, I was thinking so 2 had just come out when I started getting back into whiskey. That's older than I thought.
Okay, so let's 3, I'm sorry, 3 is yellow.
Okay, so 3 was the one.
So edition 1 is the brown box. 2 is orange, 3 is yellow, 4 is green, 5 is purple, 6 is the light blue.
Yeah, so that makes sense because 2 and 3. So 2, when I first started getting back into whiskey, 2 had dropped the year before, or like really, really getting back into it. 2 had dropped the year before. 3 was the new hotness, and I actually thought 3 was some of the sickest shit I'd ever had from Macallan, and I was a big Macallan fanboy back then. But like pretty much every edition since then that I've tried, I've just been like, what's the point? Like what's like the one where it was it, I think it was purple. Did you say purple was 4? And then
Purple was 5.
Purple was 5. Yeah, because purple, I was just like, I don't understand what you're trying to accomplish here. It just all the interesting parts of Macallan, that mixture of sherry with a slight spice, with the heavy oiliness.
Mhm.
None of that was there. None of that was there. It wasn't really the Macallan that I like really got into right away.
Mhm.
It was kind of just Macallan light, I guess, but with a higher price tag.
Yeah, the 5 I'm not a big fan of. The 4 I really like. The 3 I like. The 2 is really good too.
Yeah.
The 5 is just meh.
Yeah. Nathan Clark is saying, I don't know, Steve. Macallan is super unexciting. Glendronach, in his opinion, is on the same level as Bunnahabhain when you get to price versus quality in age-stated bottling.
So, depends on which Macallan you're talking about. And that's where we were getting to, is that the stuff you can buy now, the 12-year especially, I'd agree. If you find a bottling from 2017, 2016, something like that, of the 12-year, that's going to be really good. The additions 2, 3, 4 are good. 5, meh at best.
Yeah.
6 I haven't had a chance to try, so I can't speak to it. They can be really good, but especially once you get past once you're like at the 15 and especially above that, they're just way too expensive for what it is.
Yeah.
And Glendronach is basically on my shit list because they're like, yeah, we're going to take this good thing we have where we're putting out 43% non-chill filtered, and we're going to start chill filtering it. So,
that is kind of a kick in the teeth, because I think Glendronach was definitely the Macallan killer for me. 100%. Like, I think Glendronach was absolutely 100% just beating Macallan hands down.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that it's the end. I don't know if it's the end of the world. We'll see what happens with the new whatever. But I certainly am concerned about that. No doubt. Donner is saying Macallan is now a luxury status symbol brand. Yeah, they're not bottling marketing for us anymore, if they ever were.
And like what he says there with the older box Macallan 12s are really good. The new ones, you're right, they're not exciting. But on the flip side, they're kind of at that same price point now as Glendronach and several others. And Glendronach is probably probably has the edge in my mind. I just refuse to buy from them after their decision there. I understand why they did it. Sam keeps harping that it's like, no, it's only a technicality that it's chill filtering, and they're only doing it because they were getting particulate matter. I'm like, just run the damn thing through a sieve and call it a day. I mean, they're talking about they were getting flocculation in some of the bottlings. I'm like, a fine mesh sieve is going to strain that stuff out. I've been doing home brewing for a decade and a half. A fine mesh sieve will strain that stuff out, and it's not going to strain out all the fats and esters and everything that we want in the whiskey. Yeah. So the fact we had this on the Whiskey Crusaders Advent stream the other night, where Sam was saying that, and my response was like, saying that it's only technically chill filtering is like saying somebody is only technically not a virgin after they've had sex. I mean, this is a binary situation here. It's either chill filtering or it isn't. This is not a there's no scale here.
It's like if someone ran up to you and like stabbed you in the gut. It was like, I only technically stabbed you. It only went in like 2 inches. Okay, it's not a real stab.
They stab you, and it only goes in 1/4 of an inch even. You still stabbed me.
You can't be mad. That was only technically a stabbing.
That's my opinion on what it's.
Brian Knight is saying everyone clamoring over Glendronach. He has a 15 and 23-year Aladeshi. I always fuck that up.
23-year?
Isn't it 23? Oh, wait, I thought the
Allardyce is 18.
Yeah.
It did get up to... did it? I'd have to look up my chart to find out what the oldest the Allardyce got up to.
Yeah.
It was, might have hit 23 years. That was the distillery was shut down for several years. So
right. Yeah, they had that weird gap. Yeah.
That you had, but some of what I've found with Allardyce especially, and I don't know why it is for Allardyce, because Allardyce is the one. So prior to them discontinuing and restarting the Revival, the 15, the Revival and the Allardyce were both only Oloroso. When they stopped, when they cut off the 15 for a year or 2 years, whatever it was, basically to reset off of the fact that they were putting 19-year-old juice in their 15-year bottles. When they did that reset there, they started blending it with PX, the same as the 12 and the 21.
Yeah. You can still find the Oloroso straight up Allardyce.
The Allardyce is still Oloroso only.
That one is? Okay, so the 23 is
among other things, they never actually stopped the Allardyce. They kept distributing that the whole time. I think what they said they were doing, and from what I've heard from people that have tasted it and everything, is that rather than doing a hard cutoff from 22-year-old whatever, 22 plus year old whatever it was, when they got back to the point that the new distillery now had actual 18-year casks they could start using, is they started ramping up those and cutting down some of the old ones, but they didn't do a quick, okay, we're gonna completely change and drop 4.5 years worth of actual age to get down to our 18-year age state.
Yeah.
It was, and they were doing it over a course of a couple of years. Okay.
Yeah, that's what Brandon is saying. He has a 2018.
Yeah, I'd have to. I know I have the chart someplace. Yeah, it says 8. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
and that's why I had to pause and wonder. I'm like, did the Allardyce make it to 23? I knew it made it past 21. I could, and might have been. Does it maybe get up to 24 year? Is that what was it? A little over 5 years they were shut down. I'd have to look it up.
Because what was it? Was it the mid 2000 something like that?
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Yeah. David, speaking of Ben Riach, I got a little Ben Riach Smoky 12 here. Wondering when the Brown-Forman guillotine will fall on good old Ben Riach. Sooner rather than later, I'm sure. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised with the way things are going with the supply chain and just what I've seen on the distribution side. At some point, Brown-Forman's going to start squeezing those distilleries, and they're going to try and see. There's going to be, how would I say it, cost saving measures, maybe. Something. Supply.
And that's the thing when I'm looking at with Glendronach with the chill filtering. I'm like, you just made your process more expensive. You added another step that requires significant equipment. You may already have versions of the equipment sitting around, but the filters have to be replaced. You have to pay to run the equipment when you run. You've added another step. This is not this chill filtering certainly wasn't a cost-saving measure.
Mm-hmm.
They apparently had a couple of batches that came through that had just a little more stuff in it than they wanted to see in the bottles. And I don't know if they had people returning it or whatever. And the answer there is educate your damn consumers.
Right.
Irish Mist, or no, even better, Scotch Mist, back whatever, where they weren't chill filtering. And the fact that it got hazy was they used it as a marketing tool to say that's because we leave all this extra stuff in here. It makes it better.
Right.
It's officially cosmetic only, but you can't tell me if you're stripping out that many fatty acids and stuff that it's cosmetic only.
Oh, sure. And we've certainly seen people going the other way and trying to play up the fatty acid element. So
you don't need to chill filter that because it's 50%.
That's true. I'm just saying from a marketing perspective, people are taking advantage of the fact that people are aware of the chemistry.
Well, especially in things like the Maker's special releases, where their market, and I think that's where the difference is that the Maker's special releases are being marketed to us and the people that are watching this stream right now. Whereas Glendronach 12 and 15 especially, they're not marketing that for us. They're marketing
They are marketing it to a certain the Scotch drinking tech bro who
I mean you have the person that likes good whiskey, isn't an actual geek about it, has a certain degree of disposable income, so they're paying premium prices for good alcohol.
Right.
They're marketing to that person that doesn't know what we know.
Sure.
The Maker's special releases, they're marketed for us.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And thank God they are.
Pinch Hitter is saying, considering they just overhauled the entire Ben Riach lineup, it's probably safe for a while. I'm going to disagree with you. Respectfully, I'm going to disagree with you. Just because I do think the rebranding and the overhaul is very much a marketing tool, and certainly it does include changes to the mix. Like definitely, certainly changes to the way they're making whiskey. But at the end of the day, I do think Brown-Forman is in a tough spot right now, considering that they can't sell their big money makers are not selling the way they want to. Not because there isn't demand for them, but because of supply chain issues. I think we're going to see a tightening of the belt from Brown-Forman very soon that is going to change up pretty much the way a lot of their ancillary distilleries work, just because they are going to try to make up for those supply chain issues on their major brands by fucking around with their smaller ones. I don't know if that's necessarily. I mean, I'm not a future teller. It seems like that's the way they tend to be going with their ancillary brands.
The thing I'd say there is that Ben Riach is such small potatoes to Brown-Forman. I mean, I bet that Old Forester is a much larger constituent of their portfolio than Ben Riach is, and Jack Daniels is obviously the 800-pound gorilla in any of these discussions.
Oh no, for sure, and I don't think they care about Ben Riach the way they do about Jack Daniels. The issue.
And why would they?
The issue is that Jack Daniels right now, from what I've seen, moving just cases of Jack Daniels, there's just not enough Jack to go around. And that's not something Brown-Forman can control. What Brown-Forman can control is what they do with these smaller satellite brands. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some changes.
From anybody other than Brown-Forman, I think I'd agree. But the fact that while it's publicly traded, it's still a family-owned company because that family owns 60% of the stock or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, these people are at least trying to do this right. So, and we'll see. Who knows?
We will see. We will see because, and like David points out, Glendronach was chill filtered without an overhaul. I think there is a disconnect between the process of making whiskey and the marketing of whiskey. So we will see. We will see what happens with these Brown. Yeah. Oh, poor Brown-Forman. Yeah. It is crazy though. Recently, and I don't know if I'm talking out of turn or not.
This is
but,
not Prohibition Day, Kilco. This is Repeal Day.
Oh, Don Rance is here. Good to see you.
Happy end of Prohibition Day. Come on, Brian, get with the
Happy
program.
Prohibition. Yeah. No, but I was just going to say, it is a little crazy because as of recently, handles of Jack have become allocated within Milwaukee County.
Wow.
Yep.
Because they can't get the glass in to fill them.
Right. That's the problem. There's plenty of whiskey, not enough glass. Jack Daniels tends to
their
use
pace
too
of
much
making
glass.
whiskey has not gone well. Okay, now let's think through part of the side effect longer term of that. They can't bottle the stuff as fast right now as they might want to, which means more barrels are staying full and aging a little bit longer than they used to.
That's true.
Now I don't think it's going to be a huge difference in quality because they're aiming for a very consistent product, and by God, do they produce a very consistent product? Sure. Particularly the old number 7. That it's you can buy that anywhere, and you know exactly what you're getting.
Billy Walker sold his distilleries to Brown-Forman for a shitload of money. They want to squeeze money out of that investment and are not willing to wait 20 years for a return on their investment. I mean, yeah, and that ties into this. I think anytime, I think during this boom, right, when you see a smaller distillery, whether it's a craft distillery or one of the bigger players, but still a smaller one that's being sold to a larger conglomerate, I don't necessarily think you're going to see massive changes right away as long as things are good.
Right.
When things start getting squeezed, whether it's when you're getting squeezed because of as part of that brand or one of your sister brands is getting squeezed and they need to make up money, that's when you're going to start seeing changes.
What could you be doing with Ben Riach?
I mean, it's the same thing as they did with Macallan. You start lowering the percentage of older whiskey in the blend.
But you're still dealing with something that's going to take 2 years to have any impact. By which point, chances are a good chunk of the supply chain issues on getting, say, glass bottles will have started clearing up again. So,
hey, Eric, good to see you, man. Hey, I'm still thinking about doing that meetup. I'll be announcing something about that soon. Sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
I needed a sip. I just don't know. I'm not saying it's not going to happen because Lord knows you see enough of that stuff in the business world. But given certain things that Brown-Forman has done over the years, I'm not sure I see them doing that. They decided for marketing reasons to start chill filtering GlenDronach. I mean, that wasn't a bottom line thing because they had that in process before any supply chain issues were a thing. And again, it's making the product more expensive. Now, is it hugely more expensive? It's not really. It's an additional expense, but it's not a big one.
But it's still an
additional expense.
Do they see that as? I mean, I guess my thinking is you can see these processes as cost adding, while also understanding that they are cost effective on the back end.
I fully believe that they. I'm quite certain that they fully believe that from an overall marketing and sales standpoint, it's going to help them in the long run. I'm far from convinced that it will. I'm quite convinced they believe it will.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Grouchy is asking, has anyone had Billy Walker's new Glenalleckies? Not all Scotch juice is bad. That stuff's pretty great. I haven't had any of the new ones. Steve?
Yeah, I've got one of the 10-year cask strength sitting right up there. between the Old Pulteney and the Old Elk, just under the Dark Cove.
Oh, speaking of big news though, with the Old Elk, have you seen all the new releases Old Elk has done?
No.
They've got a port cask, a cognac cask, an Armagnac cask, and I think they have a sherry
Sign me
cask
up.
too. Yeah, they are running the gamut on finishings right now. They all just dropped in Wisconsin. It's nuts. And Eric, oh yeah, I was thinking maybe beginning of next year we might have a meetup. I was thinking we could do it at Patty's before they close. One of the big Irish bars in Milwaukee might be closing because they're selling the land. So I want to get a meetup in there before. That's actually where we originally filmed the Rock Cut review. That was our first place. So, yeah. Also, I've moved on to Teeling Small Batch. This was a gift from my brother-in-law, actually. So,
there you go. I moved to Remus Repeal Batch 1, the 47% one.
There you go. I also should say, we shouldn't forget how badly Prohibition fucked over the Irish.
No kidding.
Right?
Oh, crap.
Like coming out of the Civil War, and then suddenly you get hit by Prohibition, and you just have nowhere to sell your shit, and the British trade war and all that bullshit. Yeah. Big contributor to fucking up Ireland's distillery game.
Absolutely. I need to step away for a moment.
Okay, I'll hold down.
I had somebody drop something off at the front door that I need to grab.
Okay. All right, y'all are stuck with me. Who is coming in? Hey, Bubble Bath. Everyone, if you are not subscribed to Bubble Bath Bourbon, make sure you are, because he's a lovely person. I love him so much. You should definitely go subscribe and watch all his videos, one after the other. And tune in for everything he does from here on out. Brandon Knight is about to dig into the new Riff Balboa Rye. I haven't gotten to try that. I just got the malted rye, which I think I left in the other room. Really good shit. Really good shit. It is interesting, though. I will say, I think they use a pretty low entry proof for their, entry proof. And you definitely can taste it. It's really interesting with their rye. I don't know if you can taste it as much with their bourbon, but you can definitely taste it with their rye. Michael Hill, what's up? Is drinking Rainier beer. I really don't know beer. I don't know if that's a good beer or not. Hey, there he is.
Yep.
Paul Brambell. Oh, he's pouring a Teeling. Yeah. You know what one of my favorites is? Teeling single grain. Teeling single grain, I think, is one of the best single grains on the market today.
I could see that.
Michael, is English whiskey not very good?
There's just not that much English whiskey.
Right. What are the two? There's
What are the two?
Bamber or Bimber or whatever the fuck.
Bimber. The Englishman. There's only a handful of English distilleries.
I mean, it does seem. I think this is something when I told Erica, when I told Erica there were English distilleries making whiskey, she was like, "Isn't that Gaelic cultural appropriation?"
This was kind of a thing that started long before cultural appropriation was really a thing. This is learning from your neighbors how to.
Yeah, right. Well, and here's my thing. It's not even like I love that whiskey's being made all over the world, India, Japan, wherever. Mm-hmm. It's just that the English, the colonizer of Scotland and Ireland, is now making whiskey.
But they're still your neighbors. And when I say neighbors, I mean you have a physical board, you have land borders with these areas. You know, we're not talking that you appropriated something from the other side of the planet and pretended it's your own. You have people living, you have the small island And both of those islands are really pretty damn small when you get right down to it.
Oh, Paul, I'm joking. I don't care that the English are making whiskey. I'm totally fine with it. I'm joking. I'm only making a joke. I promise.
Even Great Britain. Let's just take Great Britain, England, Wales, Scotland. Even that is not a big island.
No. Oh, not even close. Yeah, no, it's tiny, even in terms of population.
Well, even population aside, just the physical space that it inhabits is what, about the same as Minnesota?
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
So if I cook something in my kitchen that's the same as somebody from up in far northern Minnesota came up with, that's cultural. No.
It's only cultural appropriation if you're English, because we hate the English. That's why. Anyway, Donner Pass is saying, keep meaning to get that Teeling single grain. It is really, really good. The Napa Valley, the red wine, it's fantastic. It's really good. Grouchy Pseudopod says, the English are the sort of neighbors who take your leaf blower and never give it back. I will say, no, it's I don't actually hate the English. It's kind of like the rugby rivalry at this point, where it's like nobody really cares who wins between Scotland, Wales, and Ireland, so long as somebody beats the English. It's not an actual hatred. We just want to see the English lose. Eric is asking, love the video from the Bastard's Ball. Anything we should know that didn't make the ed cut? Ooh, yes. There were quite a few things. We did have to cut some jokes because we had so many people tell us bad jokes that we had to cut some stuff. We just didn't have the time for it. And some of them were wildly inappropriate, so they would never have made YouTube.
At the Bastard's Ball, wildly inappropriate jokes? Say it isn't so.
Yeah, no. So yes, there were a few things that didn't make it. Also, we definitely filmed some content from the night after the Bastard's Ball when I was fucked up on a mixture of whiskey and certain other compounds that did not make the cut. So
when you say the night after, you mean Bastard's Ball was Sunday. You're talking Sunday night.
Sunday night, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
As opposed to Monday night.
Right. Sunday night. There were
just making sure I got the timeline.
We did shoot some stuff Sunday night that we went and got burgers, and then some other stuff happened. So I did not include some other stuff.
So, I looked it up. Minnesota is like 8% larger than the island of Great Britain.
Oh, yeah. No, it is. It's tiny. It's crazy how many different cultures popped up in such a small area in Europe. Yeah. Michael Hill says, do not censor the Bastard's Ball footage. I mean, I could put it up on Patreon. It's definitely
I was going to say
not YouTube.
You have it unlisted on YouTube. You know, don't even try to monetize it. Just know, on the YouTube side, make it unlisted. Send the link to Patreon.
Oh yeah, no, that could actually be good. I could include a bunch of the stuff that I had to cut. Yeah. Donner Pass is mentioning, just got Philly Bay Yorkshire English single malt. Young whiskey so far, but started by a family of barley farmers. I assume it's not barely farmers. They're farmers, but they're barely farmers. 100% dirt to glass, all in-house production. That sounds cool. For sure.
You know, Jay Henry is right on the edge of pulling that off.
Oh, for sure.
Except they ship the ferment across the state to get it distilled and then bring it back.
Yeah, in Yahara. Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. They are so. I'm
right on the edge.
Taking that over. Also, someone is drinking Tachikaka. Wait, who was it? Someone is. It's Pinch Hitter? Is that you? Drinking some Tachikaka? which the Scottish pronunciation that is so weird. Tochuk Aga. Yes, I am being sent a sample of Tiger Thick whiskey. That should be coming soon, hopefully, if all things work out. I'm gonna drink some J. Henry now.
5-year patent.
This is this is the Peachy Pitmaster.
Oh, Peachy.
Peachy.
Oh, Peachy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a store pick.
This is a weird one because this was a store pick. I don't even know if we actually did this as a store pick. I think they just we ordered a bunch of Patton Road and we got it with a tater sticker. I don't even think we did a store pick.
I say because I recognize the green label on there. I'm like, that's 5-year patent.
Yeah,
I've got a bottle of 5-year patent. I've also got a bottle of 8-year patent.
Oh, do you? Nice. Yeah, and I just saw they released this year's anniversary too.
Mm-hmm. I got the anniversary one from 2 years ago that you and I got the early sneak preview of a few months before.
Yeah. I love this stuff. Tochuk Aga, because in Ulster, the way I learned it, it would be Tochuk Aga, would be Tochuk Aga. But I know the Southerners pronounce it more like Tochuk Ada. So
yeah. I remember having just the regular Tochuk, and somebody said, "Well, what's it like?" And I was like, "Well, it's very Tochuk." Well, look up the translation. The translation is literally smoky.
Smoky and two.
The regular Tochuk it translates as smoky. It's like, well, how was it compared to the other Bunnahabhains? Very Tochuk. It's a literal description of the difference from the base Bunnahabhain.
Yeah. Bone to Pick is saying you got the brains for the art. I don't know if I do. But he's saying it tastes like soy sauce. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. Don't tell me anything about it. Everyone's talking this whiskey up. So
Which one?
I don't want to know anything about it before I review it. Yeah. Nathan says he thought I was speaking of Algonquin for a second. Oh man. Yeah, no, I really have no idea about this whiskey. I guess it's a bourbon mixed with Japanese whiskey. It's made by somebody famous.
Which? The
Tiger Thick.
Oh, okay. No clue.
Yeah, and Bone to Pick is saying that the creator is a massive meme in a bad way. Oh, is this one of those ones where I'm going to review this whiskey and then I'm going to get death threats? Because that's happened before.
Well, you've gotten death threats off of reviewing a whiskey or calling misogynist assholes out for being misogynist assholes.
I mean, both. I was surprised. The comments we got on our what was it? Proper number 12 video were surprisingly violent.
Well, I can understand that. You have a bunch of fight fans that glorify this one bozo who believe that he can't do anything wrong, and somehow this guy who's really good at fighting, and by God, I never want to get into a physical altercation with the man because he'd kill me. I just know I know better. This does not mean you know how to make whiskey.
Right.
Wildly different skill set here.
Yeah. Bone to Pick is saying, no, he has no fans. That's the joke. His anti-fan base is larger than his real fan base, like being a fan of a train wreck. Fair enough. And Michael Hill is saying, people in his town love the Coach Jason Brown whiskey. Listen,
fuck Jason
I've never
Brown.
had the whiskey. I don't know if it's any good.
The whiskey may be perfectly good. I don't know. But
but fuck the man himself.
Yeah.
The man himself can go fuck himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no opinion on the whiskey itself because I've never tried it. Therefore, I don't feel qualified to comment on that. I do feel completely qualified to say that the guy is a piece of human trash that we'd be better off not having to talk about.
Yeah, no. Jason, listen, if he had just shut his mouth and sold his whiskey, he would have been fine.
Yep, absolutely.
But he went ahead and made a complete ass of himself and threatened people online and did a whole bunch of stupid bullshit. So yeah, fuck Jason. And that's all we have to say about it.
We vented for the day. So back to J. Henry and the fact that I was mentioning that I have the anniversary release from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Are they doing Distill America again this year as a real thing, or?
As far as I know, yeah. I think so. I mean,
because I skipped the online thing last year entirely because just why?
It wasn't my thing. It wasn't. Yeah.
I don't get me wrong. I understand why they did it that way.
Yeah.
I get it. It sucks that we had to deal with it that way, but I get it.
Yeah.
But the fact that the year before we got to try the no, it was 2 years before.
That would have been 2009.
I'm trying to remember which one. I'm trying to remember if it was the first one I was at or the second one that we got to try the anniversary.
That would have been 2019, right?
So the last one, the last real one.
Yeah. Eric Everson just became an SNWS member.
2020 was the last real one. Because it was in February and the world went to shit a month later.
Yeah, so 2019, I think we got the anniversary. 2020 was the last real one. Yeah.
Yes, 2019 edition. On the label. So I'm going to go with it. So yeah, so it was that first one, the one where we actually met and everything.
Mm-hmm.
That we got to try that like 5 months before it was released.
Oh yeah. Do you remember what was the other one? The Twisted Path had that fucking hazmat rye. Do you remember that one?
Was that the first one or the second one?
That was the second one. That was 2020.
Okay. Which I think was that like the fourth time that they'd done it total?
No, that would have been 6.
Maybe 6. I don't know. I've only been to 2.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Twisted Path had this sick hazmat rye. I think it was 73%, something like that. Like it burned like a motherfucker. But that, I think, of all the Wisconsin distilleries making rye, I think Twisted Path is probably.
I remember having that ridiculously high ABV rye once.
Yeah. Twisted Path, I think, is the one people are overlooking the most. Like,
I'm not that big of a rye fan. I know you are. And I'm not Erica where I hate rye. I have probably a couple dozen ryes sitting on the shelf down there total. So, which seems kind of silly that somebody that says they don't really like rye, but I've got a couple dozen. There's at least a dozen ryes down there. I'd have to go through and start counting the damn things up.
Here we go. Oh, and Donald Ranch just got off work. Awesome, dude.
Hey, Donald.
Bona Pig is asking, as a lover of heavy peat, more peat the better, what is a good budget peaty brand / bottle? Love Lagavulin 12, but it's a little expensive.
Well, okay, so first of all, step back to Lagavulin 16 because it's not going to be quite as much peat, but much more affordable.
Yeah.
Because it's 46% instead of cask strength. And then the obvious choices are Lagavulin or Lafroig and Ardbeg 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe
Wee Beastie.
Yeah, Ardbeg Wheat Beastie, Lafroig quarter cask, depending.
Because I'm hesitant to take somebody that likes Lagavulin and point them to Laphroaig because the nature of that peat is so different.
I mean, that's true, but if you really like the peat, if the part of Lagavulin
I
you
would-
like is the peat, you might really like Laphroaig.
You might or you might not, because I really like the peat in Lagavulin. I do not like Laphroaig.
Really?
Yeah, the Laphroaig is too medicinal. Now, Ardbeg, you get me Ardbeg 10, Ardbeg 5, when the wee beastie. When I'm in a peat mood, oh yeah. I'm not in a peat mood that often. But you get me those. I like Kalila as well. Is it? It could be 43 instead of 46%. Donald, yes. The point is that it's still Lagavulin 16 is going to be cheaper than the Lagavulin 12.
Here's what I'm going to say: if you like the smoke off of Lagavulin, I would say get yourself Kilchoman.
Okay, there's another good choice.
But if you're going more for that, if you're going more for the medicinal, go Laphroaig or Port Charlotte.
I could see that. Yahara Bay would be a really good. I think would be a really good kind of cross choice. That because you can try that. It's going to be relatively available. It's kind of that same level of maybe a little bit more than Lagavulin. Although Lagavulin 12 is a pretty good peat punch.
I feel like, but here's my thing: Lagavulin 16 is more wood spice smoke.
Well, but he's coming from the 12.
That's what I'm saying, though. 12 is definitely more medicinal. It's definitely like you haven't aged out quite as much of that fishy iodininess. I definitely think 12 runs more medicinal, and that's why I would say quarter cask, just because you're getting something a bit more vanilla-y, but still.
Grunty Pseudopod makes a very good point.
Oh, 8. That's a good call.
It's going to be It's going to be the same thing, lower ABV, but the peat's going to be more present because it's younger.
That's true. Also, you could always go with something like, and people are going to kind of shit on me for this, but if you really want a cheap peated option, Johnny Double Black. Like if you want something
Johnny
cheap,
Double Black isn't that peaty though. Not compared to Lagavulin.
Oh no, not compared to Lagavulin. But if price is an issue,
oh okay, yes, and Johnny Double Black is a good solid blend. It's
like
okay.
If the main consideration is price, then Johnny Double Black is not a bad move.
Which is it the
or even like Black Bottle is not a terrible move.
Is it Glasgow or Artists? Compass Box.
Well, Brandon, I agree with you. I preferred Laphroaig 10 for sure over quarter cask. But if you're coming from Lagavulin, I would go quarter cask first.
Yeah, we're trying to ease into that full on. Here's an iodine-soaked charcoal briquette to suck on that Laphroaig 10 is.
No.
Thank you. So the Glasgow blend I was thinking, I'm like, I can't remember which one was which. But Compass Box Glasgow blend. That's a good peated option at I don't know, about $40.
Yeah,
45 maybe. I haven't gone shopping for it recently. I do know that that never got hit by the tariffs because it's a blend.
Because it's a blend, yeah, for sure. All right. Grouchy is saying there's no good way to describe Laphroaig that isn't a little kinky. It's true. It's true. Pretty much any word you would use to describe Laphroaig is funky. Yeah. Someone mentioned Scarabus earlier. There's also Port Skag. I would agree. I like the Port Skag pretty good.
I don't know if anybody mentioned Scarabus. The Scallywag came up. I don't know if did somebody mention Scarabus when I wasn't looking?
I think so, but I will say I think with the Kalila brands, I am Kalila is a weird, funky peat, and I'm reluctant to recommend Kalila heavy stuff to people getting new into peat, not because it's not peaty, but because it is a very particular type.
Oh, it's a very different peat.
It's a funky, strange kind of peat. Yeah.
Well,
Steve Hitter. Pinch Hitter did.
Did what? Oh, Scarabus. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other thing to keep in mind is we're sitting here talking about Johnny Walker. Most of its peat's coming out of Kalila.
That's true. That's true. But you do tamp down the funky with the grain for sure.
Quite a bit. Well, and the other malts that are in there that aren't Kalila.
Donald Rance is saying Lecheg would be another option.
I don't remember the last time I poured this bottle.
I think no. Actually, here's my thing. Here's my thing with Lecheg. Hey, there you go.
2017.
Here's my thing with Lecheg. If you can, do not buy Lecheg over 10 years. Just don't do it. Never ever buy it over 10 years. That's my opinion.
So Michael Hill, he's a misogynist asshole?
Oh, yeah. Real quick, I'm going to break this down. Jim Murray wrote some very misogynist shit, but it was in a certain context, which some people might forgive. Not me, but whatever. My main problem with him is that in a particular setting, he insisted that a woman stand up and everyone in the room picture her naked for some indiscernible reason that was related to whiskey. Point being, it was very uncomfortable. It was very weird. And instead of just like owning up to it, he tried to defend himself with some really strange reasoning that he didn't really, it wasn't about sexism. It was about, I don't know, sensory indulgence. Point being, Jim Murray he does really weird shit. He does really weird, creepy rat fucking shit.
If you want to go down the whole, imagine your entire audience naked, to just as here's how you get over some of your jitters with public speaking is one of the classic ones. You're not picking out a specific person. You're kind of making this generic way to reset the way your brain is functioning for a short while so you can get up there and talk. What he does, and yes, some people think that whiskey is an old boys club.
Yeah.
Too many people do. And you got a bottle of J. Henry sitting there. Patton Road Reserve. You know whose fingerprints are all over that stuff?
I mean, a certain
Nancy Fraser.
Nancy, yeah.
I just happen to know that J. Henry is one of many distilleries that she is.
And Iron Root.
Actually, it sounded like No, it's Iron Root that she's not really working with all that much anymore.
Well, she's Iron Root, Still Austin, Wyoming.
It sounds like she isn't working with Iron Root as much anymore.
She was, though, at some point.
No, she did. She absolutely did. But it sounds more like that Iron Root's gotten to the point that she's kind of, okay, you can carry on your own now. You're doing good. Yeah. Have a nice day. Well, let me know if you need help.
Yeah. Point being, Jim Murray is the symbol of a kind of masculinity that wants to keep other people out of the whiskey community.
Mm-hmm.
He and that includes he is very much the symbol of someone who's trying to keep women out of the whiskey community. And And I mean, that has certainly, not in his case, but that has certainly extended to people of color, young people, whomever. There's a certain contingent of whiskey reviewers who very much use language and ideas that are rooted in, this is my hobby, you can't come in.
Bingo.
They're very much gatekeepers. And it doesn't reflect who is consuming whiskey and who is working in whiskey today. That's my main problem with Jim Murray, is that he seems to think he can get away with a lot of bad behavior because it's in the name of whiskey, when in fact, he doesn't represent the wider community who enjoys this beverage.
Mm-hmm. I got to be honest, I'm not getting a lot of medicinal out of this Lagavulin 12.
No?
I'm just not.
Okay, anyway. Eric says he has a request for an upcoming Rotgut review. The new Dewar's 8-year. I could do that. Some are good, some are bad. I could definitely make that happen. Oh, also, yeah, no, Emma Niemer from over at fucking Jesus.
Crowded Barrel. Well,
yeah.
Balcones now, but
yeah, she's with Balcones now. She's doing their blending team. Yeah, for sure.
I know that the last name is not spelled right, but we all know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, Emma is.
And that's the thing. The idea of whiskey as a certain people's beverage, it's rooted in a certain kind of elitism. There's a mixture of classism, racism, and sexism that certain people seem to hold on to, that whiskey is representative of their culture. And fuck those people. Whiskey belongs to everyone.
Absolutely.
Peter Miller is asking, what are my thoughts on Yahara Bay? I've had some very good whiskey from Yahara Bay. They certainly do some very good distilling from J. Henry. I've also had...
Whoa. Hold on. What, Yahara Bay's getting what from J. Henry?
Wait, isn't Yahara... they're still sending their stuff over to Yahara.
They're not going to Yahara. They're going to 45th Parallel.
I thought they were going through Yahara.
As far as I know, it's been 45th Parallel the whole time.
Okay. Anyway, maybe I'm wrong. But point being,
don't give me a heart attack like that.
Point being, I've had some good stuff from Yahara. I've also had some really, really bad things from Yahara as well. One of the worst whiskeys I ever had was from Yahara. So
now I have to look this up because you have me nervous.
Grushy Pseudopod says, I bartend and older ladies drink better scotch than old guys. The old guys know their bourbon, but it's time to admit that everyone likes whiskey and let women and anyone who wants to be in the club. I agree. No, Eric Everson agrees with you. He's saying 45th. I thought it was Yahara for some reason.
Yeah. After distillation at 45th Parallel, the bourbon is aged for 5 years in new charred oak barrels at J. Henry & Sons. Okay.
No, you're right. You're right.
You scared me for a minute there. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
All right. We are going on an hour and 45 minutes. I think it's time to kill this stream. It has been fun. Happy Repeal Day, everyone. And until next time, stay healthy, stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video on your way out. But most of all, stay rotten.